If you want to celebrate this Christmas with this babà, you have to prepare it. And if you don't know how, you have to watch the whole video.
Sorry, Mom, but why are you speaking in rhyme?
Because this babà is a poem. For this recipe, we need just a few simple ingredients, the ones we usually always have at home. And above all, we need a tool that will help us with the preparation. Because the secret to this recipe is actually in the preparation. So if you don't have a stand mixer, like I do in this case, you can easily use an electric hand mixer, okay, to help us. But it's a simple dough. Doing it by hand just takes a bit longer. As I always say, you can do that too. So let's start by putting the flour in the stand mixer. Then we add the salt. And let's start by adding 2 eggs. These are 5 eggs, which equal 270 grams in weight. So if you weigh them, obviously after cracking them, they will weigh 270 grams because they are medium eggs. Okay? Pay attention to the eggs because eggs are very important. So I'll start by adding a couple of eggs. 1 and 2, a bit of egg white. Okay. And I'll start the process by letting the machine work. As you can see, the dough has started to crumble, and at this point I'll start adding the yeast. This is dry yeast, but if you don't have dry yeast, you can use fresh yeast instead. That one over there is fresh. And I'll give you the exact measurements below in the description, okay? So I'm adding the yeast. And gradually I'll incorporate the rest. Eggs, one at a time until the first one is incorporated. Then we add the second, then the third. Okay? So let's start like this. Always keep working, okay? Please remember that. Let's add the second egg. Let's let it blend in. And let's go with the third egg. Incorporate all the eggs. Let's go with the sugar. So we add the sugar in, okay? And then still mixing, we start adding the butter. It needs to be at room temperature, not too soft and not too hard either, kind of plastic-like, as I say. It should be like this, see? Okay? So after adding the sugar, I start mixing again and begin to incorporate the butter a little at a time. So we add 2 or 3 pieces at a time, let them absorb, and then continue with the others. This part requires a bit of patience, of course, but the result will be exceptional. Very good. All the butter has been absorbed, and now from this point on, the real work begins. Yes, because this dough, as you've seen, as I'm showing you, look, it's soft, very soft. So all we have to do is let the machine work until the dough is kneaded to the right consistency. What does that mean? It means the dough will develop gluten and become soft but elastic, okay? This is, let's say, the special feature of this dessert. So we don't have to do anything. We just need to let the machine work, maybe at a higher speed, so the gluten develops more. But please, make sure not to go over 20 or 25 minutes of mixing. Otherwise, the dough can overheat and the babà won't turn out well. Also, another thing at the beginning, as you saw, when I started mixing, I used the flat beater right away. But if that's a problem for you, because at the beginning the dough is a bit harder, a bit drier, so it might make you worry, right? You might think maybe this won't dissolve. At the beginning you can use the hook to help dissolve, well, all the dough. Then you'll switch to the paddle and continue working it. So now all we have to do is wait. Let's go. And here it is, after 20 minutes of mixing at high speed, this is the result. You see a soft dough, like I said before, but elastic. See how it is? Beautiful, that's how it should be, see? Beautiful, 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 okay. Now all that's left is to let the dough rest for about half an hour. This beautiful dough, of course, covered with a food safe cap. If someone gives me a hand, we can probably get it on. Here it is, beautiful, comfortable, very comfortable. Okay, great. Time has passed. It has rested for about half an hour. Now let's put the dough into the mold. I have here a Babà mold that's about 23-24 centimeters in diameter. And I also have some small Babà cups. If I can, I'll make the small ones too. Okay, with a bit of dough. Now let's use a dough scraper to take out the dough. But as I said before, as you can see, the dough is soft. It's not a hard dough. Oh, it's so nice. Here we go. So what happens now? And here it's a bit difficult for those who aren't pastry chefs, neither like me nor like you. So I thought I'd make things easier. I rub a little oil on my hands. And I take a piece of dough at a time. See how nice it is, okay? I break it. The nice thing is that it's super elastic and I place it here in the mold. Nothing could be easier. See, and there's a little bit of dough left, so I'll fill these little cups too. You really just need a tiny bit, just a little piece like this, see? And here are the Babà and the little Babas. Aren't they cute? See? And now all that's left is to let it rise. I put it in the oven with the light on, but the oven off. Or you can heat the oven to about 35 or 40 degrees, then turn it off. If we want to speed up the rising a bit, we can put it inside and let it rise until it reaches about 1 centimeter from the edge of the pan. Okay, I hope I was clear. And here it is, after an hour, the result. Beautiful. It has tripled in size, just like I said before, even the little ones. Look how cute they are. Now all that's left is to put them in the oven. Dearest friends, here is the result. Wonderful Babà, goodbye, not to mention the little Barberini. Aren't they adorable? I baked the Babà at 175 degrees for 20 minutes. As for the Babà and for the little Babà, also at 175 degrees, but for just 8 or 9 minutes. Okay, and now we just have to let it cool completely, and in the meantime, we'll prepare the syrup. My friends, I want to share a little trick with you. When I make Babà, usually for myself, I always prepare it the day before, even 2 days before. Why? Because this way I let it cool down completely, actually even dry out, so it becomes dry and even hard. Okay? But this way, when we go to soak the Babà, when we add the syrup, the Babà will soak up the liquid perfectly. Obviously, even after 1 day, 2 days, even 3 days. Wrap it with a kitchen towel and keep it there at room temperature. You don't have to do anything to it. It needs to dry to get dehydrated and even to harden. And then when you need it, just prepare the soaking syrup and dip it in. Nothing more, nothing less. I hope I was clear and that this little message gets through to you. And now we're getting ready to prepare the soaking syrup. In a saucepan, we pour the water. the sugar, and some lemon peels. But if you also have half a stick of cinnamon, it's really great. Okay, unfortunately I don't have it and I didn't add it. And now we turn on the stove and bring it to a boil. This way we prepare the syrup. Once it starts boiling, let it boil for 1 or 2 minutes, then turn it off. Here it is, the syrup is ready. As you can see, it's steaming. In fact, I have a kitchen thermometer here and I'm going to measure the temperature, which is now 72 degrees. 72 degrees is too hot to soak our babà. The right temperature for the syrup should be between 50 and 60 degrees, no more, no less. Because if it goes over 60 degrees, it's too hot and the babà will keep cooking and become mushy. And that's not good. The same goes if it's below 50 degrees. The babà will get wet, but it won't soak through. So we'll have a babà that's wet, but not perfectly soaked all the way inside. Now let's bring the temperature up to around 65 degrees, where I will then add the rum. The temperature has dropped by 5 degrees. We're at about 65 now, so I'm adding the rum. Because since it's cold, obviously, it will also tend to lower the temperature by another 4 or 5 degrees. Let's see, we're at 61 degrees. So what do we do now? I have a bowl here. I'll try to do my best. Because with individual babās, it's easier. With the whole babā, it's a bit more of a problem, but it's not difficult. So let's go ahead and unmold our babā first. Here it is. You see how well it comes out. Here it is, dear friends. Notice how beautiful it is. It's really, really beautiful. So what do? I put it here in this container. And I start pouring the syrup on top exactly. Because this way we'll soak the bottom part first. I set a little syrup aside. Then we'll see why. And we let it soak. Please be gentle because this one is very delicate. I've prepared a baking tray with a rack inside. Okay, I'll set it here and now. Very gently, I'll take out the babā. Here it is. And I'll place it on the rack. It's hot, but you can easily pick it up with your hands. So let's keep soaking our babā. From the top all the way to the bottom. Meanwhile, I started soaking the mini ones. See, here they are. So what do? We take the babā, we squeeze it between our hands, okay? And we remove all the excess liquid. Here it is. It should have a sponge effect, so it should go back to how it was before. Cute, right? Let's empty the baking dish of the excess liquid. And we use our hands pressing gently to help remove the excess syrup. Here it is. See how beautiful it is, like a soft, lovely sponge. Do you remember the soaking syrup I set aside? Here I transfer it into a bottle and I add a little more rum. And this will be used to refresh and then soak our babā when it needs to be served. I'll show you later. Okay, once the babā is well drained, I'll transfer it onto the serving plate. Beautiful, just like that. And now all that's left is to decorate this wonderful babā. Dear friends, the Christmas babā is ready to be enjoyed. How beautiful it is. Truly a spectacle. I am proud of this Babà. I decorated it with dollops of whipped cream and just some berries. It's beautiful to look at and above all wonderful and delicious to eat. What can I say, friends? All that's left is to try it. Yes, well, it's time. Look. This is the real Babà. You shouldn't mess with it. What a symphony. Oh my friends, after this amazing taste, I say goodbye and wish you all happy holidays.